If you've ever been intrigued by the retro amazingness that is a pineapple upside down cake, then today's video is for you. And if you like my videos, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. You're watching Preppy Kitchen, where I, John Cannell, teach you how to make delicious homemade dishes to share with your family and friends. This pineapple upside down cake will be ready before you know it, so let's get started. First off, grab a 9-inch pie dish, set that oven to 350, and let's make the base. That's the fun part, because this cake plops out, fully decorated and done. It's one of the reasons I love any upside down cake. 1/4 cup of unsalted butter. We've melted it up, and it's gonna go right into our pie dish. Swirl this around so you have a nice base of butter. It's gonna form a glue that holds everything together. I wanna say the glue that holds my family together. Let me know in the comments if you get that reference. Anyway, so now we have our butter over here. Now, sprinkle in that brown sugar. Oh, this feels so good in my hands. Baking is very tactile. Sprinkle that into an even layer. So try to not get any big clumps. That's all covered. Time for the pineapples. I'm using the canned kind because it's so easy and they're actually really good canned. Do not throw away that pineapple juice though. It's good in a ton of things. In your smoothies, in a drink of any kind. You let me know in the comments what you would use the pineapple juice for. It's even good for making rice and things like that to add some sweetness and acidity. Grab some paper towels and we're gonna pat our pineapples. We don't want them to ooze too much, but we do want them to absorb all that caramel. So pat them, set them aside, and then once they're all dry, we can place them onto our dish. Place one pineapple slice directly in the center, and now we're going to add more slices around so it's all filled up and beautiful. And yes, that last slice will fit in right there. Now we're gonna place our halves right on the edge, and that will just about cover our cake. Oh no, it actually does just cover the cake. That's so crazy. This one broke, but that'll be our secret. You won't be able to tell. Last one in. I knew these spoons would come in handy one day. You're gonna place maraschino cherries all in every gap, basically. So, and if you want, you could pat these dry as well. It's nice if they don't bleed onto the pineapple for a chef's kiss aesthetic. Now we're gonna add maraschino cherries without the stems into all the voids. And that includes in between the pineapples there, you could squeeze some in. And for the record, I prefer Luxardo cherries, but they don't look as pretty. You could also use pecans in this as well. Also up here. Don't let them fall. Oh, I think that's it, maybe. Maybe I don't need them right here. Never mind, I'm not gonna put them in every space. This gets set aside, and now we're gonna make our really easy but delicious batter. Into a medium bowl, I'm adding 1.5 cups or 180 grams of all-purpose flour, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Set that scale aside, give it a little whisk, and now we're gonna make that wet ingredient situation happen. You know what, I lied. I'm taking the scale back. All right, into this bowl, I'm adding 1/2 cup of room temperature butter. I'm using the scale because I need 3/4 cup of granulated sugar. That's 150 grams, so let's see if I measured it correctly. I didn't, it was over. I knew it was over, it was so odd. Okay, now we're going to cream this up until it's nice and fluffy. It's about 3 minutes. I'm using a hand mixer today, but you could definitely use a stand mixer. Mix it up. Then fix your hair. Something's happening up here. I can feel it. So when you mix the butter and the sugar and you get them nice and fluffy, part of the reason you're doing that is to beat air into your cake so it's light and fluffy too. If you're using the muffin method of just like melting butter, you're not gonna get that same lightness and just wonderful crumb. I'm saying this so you don't skimp on your mixing time. Keep an eye on it. We're gonna add 2 eggs in one at a time while mixing, and in case you're wondering, you're adding them in one at a time so you can beat some air in again. You want these to be fluffy because these eggs are not foamed up like you would have in different cakes. Second egg, in you go, mix it up until it is totally incorporated. It's time for 2 teaspoons of a nice vanilla, in you go, 1, 2. It smells so good every time. This is all mixed up and lovely. We're gonna set that aside because I forgot to mix up my sour cream and milk. This has 1/3 cup of sour cream and 1/3 cup of whole milk. Mix together that sour cream and milk until it is a delicious, rich concoction. Now we're gonna alternate this with the flour into our butter mixture, starting and ending with the flour. 1/3 of the dry mixture goes right in. Mix on low. If you're wondering why you do this, it's helping to stabilize the mixture and kind of prevent all those air bubbles from just collapsing. All right, half of the milk sour cream mixture. It's okay if it's a bit lumpy, don't worry. And repeat that for the remaining 1/3 and half. Add the remaining flour, it never gets old. Add it in. Mix on low until just combined. Normally I finish off a batter by hand, but if you're using a hand mixer, you have like a really good feel for it. So I'm actually using it almost as a spatula that spins. Clean those beaters off. Now, just use a spatula, scrape the bowl down, make sure there's no errant bits of unmixed nonsense. And then we're gonna transfer this into our pineapple cherry bowl. Get it all out. Just spread it to the edges, level it out. Once your batter's all leveled out, you're gonna pop this into the oven at 350 for 40 to 45 minutes or until the center is set. Let it cool on a wire rack before inverting it upside down. Into the oven you go. Let that cake cool in the pan for about 15 minutes, then get your cake plate or stand, and we're gonna invert this carefully. Okay, it's still pretty hot. Flip it upside down. Tap, tap, tap. Think some good thoughts, and we're gonna lift this up. Look at that, nothing stuck. This is gonna cool for about 20 minutes, then you're gonna cut it, but right now, this looks gorgeous. I wish you could smell it. If you like this video, check out my Easy Cake playlist. This cake melts in your mouth, it's wild, and the pineapples are just so perfectly sweet with that nice touch of acid. I hope you get a chance to make this recipe, and I'll see you in the next video.